Okay, let's dive into a pretty bold idea from our source material today. What if the most powerful anti-aging tool out there isn't some expensive cream or a new supplement? What if it's something you've already got, your own mind? It's a really fascinating concept, so let's break it down.
And that's really the core question we're tackling today, right? Is it actually possible that our thoughts, the images we hold in our heads day in and day out, could be a key factor in how we age? It's a huge idea. And to really get it, we need to unpack the logic behind this claim.
So this whole theory, it's built on this one foundational idea. The thinking is that our physical body isn't just a biological machine running on its own. Instead, it's a direct, visible reflection of what's going on inside us. Our health, our energy, even how we look, all of it mirroring our mind.
First up, the body as a mirror. And this isn't just some nice, poetic phrase. It's presented as the absolute bedrock of the entire philosophy we're looking at.
So what this theory is really saying is that our body is the ultimate expression of our mind. Every single persistent thought, every deep-seated feeling eventually shows up in physical form. Now, this isn't about a bad mood you had yesterday. We're talking about the core of our being, the stuff we think and feel over and over, manifesting outwardly over time.
I love this analogy they use. Think of it like this. Your mind is the sculptor and your body is the clay. Over years, even decades, the constant pressure of your thoughts, your worries, your joys, your beliefs about who you are is slowly, carefully shaping that final form. And if you follow that logic, you end up with a pretty challenging conclusion. If our mind is the real root cause of our physical state, then just focusing on external things like diet and exercise, well, it's like polishing a statue while completely ignoring the sculptor who's still chipping away at it. It might help the surface, but it doesn't get to the fundamental force doing the creating.
Okay, but that brings up a massive question, right? How? How can something as invisible as a thought physically change our bodies? That brings us to our next section, tuning your reality.
So how does this mind-body connection actually work? The source material doesn't just leave it as a mystery. It proposes a specific mechanism to explain it all, almost like a physics of consciousness that connects our inner world to our outer reality.
At the heart of it all is this idea of waves, or hado in the original Japanese. The theory suggests that every thought and emotion we have isn't just a chemical reaction in our brain. It's an actual energy, a frequency that we're constantly broadcasting out into the world. And to make this super clear, the source gives this fantastic analogy. Picture your mind as a radio tuner. The thoughts you consistently focus on, that's you setting the frequency. And the reality you experience, your health, how you're aging, that's the broadcasts you receive on that frequency. You just can't hear a beautiful classical station if you're tuned to a channel full of static.
So what does that actually look like in real life? Well, high-frequency thoughts, the kind that come from gratitude, from joy, from love, they're said to create a state where low-frequency realities, things like illness or bad luck, just can't resonate. They can't find a foothold. But on the other hand, constantly being in fear, worry, and resentment tunes you right into the very frequency where those negative outcomes are the only thing being broadcast.
Okay, so the theory is pretty fascinating, right? But how do you actually do anything with it? Let's get practical and move from the what to the how with the two-step practice.
Well, this practice is all about tackling two major mental habits that just drain our energy and lower our frequency. First, there's constantly worrying about a future that hasn't even happened yet. And second, there's endlessly clinging to a past that's already over and done with. According to this theory, both of these lock us into a low-frequency state. So here's the practice, broken down into two simple steps. Step 1 is the active part, vivid imagination. This is where you consciously, deliberately build a super detailed mental movie of your healthy, happy future, and you play it over and over. But step 2 is just as important, release and entrust. After you've set your destination, you have to let go of that desperate need to control every single step and just trust that you're going to get there.
You know, this whole process perfectly lines up with that old saying, do your best. That's your vivid imagination. That's the work you put in to set your mental frequency. Then leave the rest to fate. That's the release and entrustment. It's that crucial act of letting go that creates the mental peace you need to stay on that high frequency, without all the static of anxiety messing it up.
All right, this brings us to our final and honestly, maybe the most important part of this whole thing. This is where we turn this entire concept back on ourselves and take a look at our own unconscious conclusions.
So, after everything we've just gone over, here's the big question for you. What is the conclusion, the final scene of the movie about your life that you are playing on a loop in the back of your mind, probably without even realizing it? Is it a story of health and vitality and success? Or is it a story of, I'm just not that lucky, or things never seem to work out for me? And we're going to leave you with this one incredibly powerful and direct statement from the source. It's not framed as a hope or a maybe, but as a fundamental operating principle of being human. So here's a final thought to really chew on. If this is true, what reality are you building for yourself right now? Thought by thought, image by image.